Welcome everyone. I'm thinking we'll probably just start first.
Can you hear us well? Can you?
Are things okay?
It's okay.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone. We're delighted to be here. Ajahn Kovilo and Nisabho invited us to help anchor this Saturday event. And we've had a long friendship with them. And so we, of course, are extremely grateful to have the opportunity to be here with everyone. And they shared with us just kind of the format of what happens usually on Saturday mornings. So we were going to continue with that format, which was essentially chant. We were going to do the Buddha's teachings on loving kindness, and then the reflections on universal well-being, followed by a guided meditation till about 10 o'clock. And then we'll have a talk. And our theme was how do we bring Mettā, or loving kindness, into every action in our lives? We titled it kind of Mettā in action. and some Q&A at the end. So maybe just to start out, I don't know if people know the Mettā Sutta, the Buddha's discourse on loving kindness, but if so, I'd invite everyone to please place your palms together. If you like, I can actually, since I do have it very accessible with computers these days, I can share the Mettā Sutta on my screen for those who would want to follow. Okay, so we'll start with this is what should be done. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise will later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety. May all beings be at ease, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born. May all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another, or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding, by not holding to fixed views. The pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. And now the reflections on universal well-being. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all be released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortunes they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are owners of their actions and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts there will be the heirs. I invite everyone to find a comfortable position. We'll do about 20 minutes of guided meditation. Well, first, I invite you to find a kind of grounded position, maybe sitting cross-legged on the floor, or if you're sitting in a chair, see if you can plant your feet firmly on the floor. And you want to make sure your back is straight. What I find as a useful reflection is imagine a string pulling up the top of our heads, allowing our spine to align, and letting our whole body dangle in a relaxed way from the string. Having a relaxed and upright body is the foundation of the meditation practice. See if you can just tune into the body, listening to wherever the body is at. As you inhale, see if you can extend the spine, sitting up straight. And as you exhale, just relax the body. Letting go of any tension. Just letting the natural rhythm of the breath help with finding that inner alignment. And sensing into how the exhale just naturally allows us to relax. Breathing in, extend. Breathing out, relax. Just tuning into the body, honoring it, listening to it. Accepting whatever state it's in. On the inhale, extend the spine, sitting upright. Exhale, relax. And on the next inhale, see if you can bring your awareness to your face. You often hold a lot of tension in the face. In this practice, we're actually just letting go of all the ways that we've habitually cultivated how we need to show up in the world. We don't need to perform in meditation. Just letting the face relax. Bring our awareness to our forehead. Letting our forehead relax. Coming down to the eyes. Relaxing any tension around the eyes. Letting the eyes sink down to their sockets. And gently close your eyes or keep them slightly open to allow a little bit of light through. Then down to the cheeks. Relaxing the jaw. Our mouth is gently closed. Tongue is touching the roof of the mouth, gently curled upward. We're breathing in through our nose. See if you can relax your whole face. Imagine your face heavy. All the muscles on the face just drooping down. On the next inhale, so you can bring your awareness to your shoulders. Roll your shoulders back if you wish. Rolling them forward. Just allowing the shoulders to relax. Usually hold a lot of tension in our shoulders when working on a computer. Sometimes we feel tense or anxious and our shoulders come up around our ears. In meditation, we just consciously relax, let go. Imagine your left arm heavy, like there's a weight on your left elbow. Allowing your left arm to hang down. As you imagine that, see if your left shoulder muscles begin to extend and unwind and relax. This relaxation takes a little bit of time. We can't force it. Just being very gentle with ourselves. As the body feels safe and cared for, starts to relax. Inhale and sit up straight. Exhale. Let the left shoulder relax. Again, just accept whatever state your body is in. If you're feeling your shoulders are tight and can't unwind, that's no problem. Just bring a gentle acceptance to however your body is. Then going to the right shoulder. Imagine your right arm heavy. I think there's a weight on your right elbow. Holding your arm down. Allow your right shoulder muscles to lengthen and unwind. Relax. Again, this is just very, very gentle. No force. You breathe in, sitting up straight. Find a length in the spine as you relax. On the exhale, allowing the right shoulder to relax and open up. And down to the chest. Letting the chest relax. Becoming aware of the sensations that come from breathing. Sensing how the lungs expand and contract. See if you can relax all the muscles around the lungs. No need to hold any tension. Coming home to the body. And then bring your awareness down to your abdomen. Just see if you can relax all the muscles in your stomach area. Just using enough strength to sit upright. Otherwise, just relaxing the stomach. You can sense how when you breathe in, your diaphragm drops and your stomach comes out. And you exhale, stomach comes in, your diaphragm comes up. It's called belly breathing. It's very helpful for calming the mind, calming the heart, calming the body. Again, we can't force the breath to relax or be deep. But as we just relax the body naturally knows how to breathe. Just imagine like a little baby breathing. Your body's completely relaxed and their whole body breathes. As they inhale, their whole body expands. As they exhale, it contracts. So this meditation is bringing us back to this very primal breath. So see if you can just stay with the body and just breathe, relaxing any tension that you find, just for about a minute. On the next inhale, see if you can extend your spine. And exhale, just relax the body. In the 5 minutes we have left, I invite you all to just tune into this heart of loving kindness, unconditional care. There's many ways to do this. For some of us, we might be more verbal. So we use words like, may I be well. But the key is to not just say the words, but tune into the intention behind the words. So it might be helpful to imagine someone who really cares about us. Perhaps it's our parents, grandparents, friends, teachers, mentors, Ajahn Kovilo or Nisabho. And just imagine their presence. their gentle smile as they wish us well. They wish us well. May you be well. And just tuning into that heart of care, we translate that to ourselves. May I be well. May I be physically well. May I be mentally well. May I be emotionally well. May I be spiritually well. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. Both in body and mind. Finding this inner stillness, this relaxed ease and contentment. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. Say truly happy. Loving kindness or metta is actually unconditional. And so this care for ourselves is not something we have to deserve. We have to earn. We don't have to look a certain way, be successful in a particular way, get approval from others in another way. This care is unconditional. This wish for our happiness. May I be happy. So maybe just for a few minutes, see if you can just tune into that intention of goodwill for ourselves, for care for ourselves. A kindness that has no strings attached. Again, don't force anything. We find that in our hearts, there's other emotions there. And we can just envelop it with this heart of acceptance and care. We don't need to change it. Just allow it to be as it is. Hey. So good morning, everyone, again.
Morning.
So this exercise is you don't actually want to leave that relaxed, grounded, kind of open-heartedness, awareness at all during this whole time in the morning. Actually, the whole day or your whole life, highly recommended. Life will go a lot better if we can just remember to relax and actually just accept whatever is going on in our hearts and just take care of ourselves. But maybe just welcome everyone again. My name is Jin Chuan. You'll see it on the Zoom box there. And next to me, Jin Wei.
Nice to meet you.
And just maybe a brief introduction. I grew up in the Bay Area here in Silicon Valley. We're down here in Berkeley right now, Berkeley Buddhist Monastery. And maybe very briefly, during high school, I was actually really interested in becoming a monk. And I, interesting to say, I first wanted to become a monk before I figured out what religion I was. So I thought maybe I'll become a Catholic monk, or maybe I'll become a Buddhist monk, but I know I want to be a monk, which I would say is definitely not what most Silicon Valley parents want for their children. And so I won't tell that story unless somebody's really curious. But many years later, I ended up at the City of 1,000 Buddhas, which is the main monastery of Berkeley Buddhist Monastery. And actually there I first met Ajahn Kovilo, who at the time was named Ian Hillard. And he came as a volunteer to spend, I think, 3 months at the City of 1,000 Buddhas. And I was helping at that time as the volunteer coordinator. So I got a chance to be with Ajahn Kovilo for a number of months. And he really enjoyed cleaning up, and there's lots of things to clean up at the City of 1,000 Buddhas. I don't know if people know the place, but it's 400 plus acres with something like 40 huge institutional buildings. And so he had one of the office buildings and he just cleaned the whole time. And later he went to Bayagiri and became a monk there. And like I say, I was very happy that over the years, we kept this friendship alive. And that now he's at Dharma Buddhist University as a BA student. And I'm currently there as an assistant professor and also the chaplain. And so we get many opportunities to learn from one another. For instance, we are currently also starting a forest monastery in Boulder Creek in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And we had a chance to talk to Ajahn Kovilo just about monastic training, getting his experience in the Bayagiri in Thailand.
Hours of talking.
Yeah, we spent quite a few hours talking with him about, how do we develop a modern monastic form, one that stays true to our roots, but is responsive to modern conditions. And I think probably you've noticed that we wear slightly different robes than maybe what you're used to in the Thai forest tradition. It's because we're maybe say from the Chinese lineage. Some might say the Mahayana tradition, but we like to call ourselves maybe the northern tradition from China, Korea, Japan area. And then the theravada is the southern tradition from Thailand, Sri Lanka, Burma, Cambodia. And so we're delighted to have this friendship. Actually, we're very honored to have this friendship with so many noble friends in the Thai forest tradition. I want to introduce yourself just a little bit.
Sure. So my name is Jin Wei. And as you tell my accent, I'm not a native English speaker. I came from the country when it's not easy to find any Buddhist monk. 96% are Catholics. And I was in this group and still have a lot of respect. And grew up kind of a bit confused what I should do. For sure, I will know one thing. I don't want to follow my scripts what society offered to me. And in my teenage years and early 20s, actually, the place where you stayed, the Seattle, was very close to my heart because of music. I was a big fan of Nirvana, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, all this grunge movement. Try to find some loving kindness and relief. And actually, the music is good, but somehow I cannot find this Nirvana in my heart, listen to songs. And try to do some, oh, you don't go there. Self-medication in different ways, and didn't work. And some strange ways find connection with people who cultivate Dharma, cultivate Buddhism. And it was an immediately deep resonance in my heart. Oh, I know what I want to do. And strangely, talking about our we often call ourselves Northern tradition, although now we're the South, right? In the South compared to the Seattle.
That's true. We're South.
But Northern, because how the teaching of the Buddhism travel from the India, the North is the China. We have a Chinese roots, tradition, and Southern is the, you can say, Southern tradition, right? That countries like Thailand, Sri Lanka, Burma, and so forth. My first retreat was actually in Latvia. I came from Poland, right? I mentioned that. My first retreat was in Latvia and led by two Theravada nuns from Amaravati. One is Ajahn Tanya, and from New Zealand, and I forget the second nun from Russia at the time. So a deep resonance and respect to the forest tradition. And finally, it was for me clear that this kind of unconscious thought, somehow I feel affinity with these robes. I feel very comfortable wearing them. And being the Buddha hall, feel like at home. This is probably the place when I can find refuge and stay. So happy to be here, happy to have another chance to exchange our southern, northern, southern connections. And today we want to talk about the Mettā in action.
Yeah, right? Mettā in action. And so we thought maybe just to start things out was just to share how we discovered loving kindness. We wish we discovered it sooner, but we actually... Oh, yeah. Okay, so we were thinking, let's start with the invocation. I think people usually know theravada. You do Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So we'll do one time in English, one time in Pali, one time in English, and one time in a kind of hybridized Chinese Sanskrit. So, okay. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Namo Saranto Suchedoye Olahadi Samya Sambuddhosye. Okay. So today we wanted to talk a little about loving kindness and how it can be manifested in our daily lives. I was about to say how we were introduced ourselves. As I mentioned already, Ajahn Kovilo is going to a college at Dharma Buddhist University in the city of 10,000 Buddhas. And a number of years ago, we actually invited some Abhayagiri monks as consultants for the university. It's kind of funny. You get monks as consultants. And the reason we asked them to be consultants was because we wanted to learn about how Abhayagiri created wholesome community. Those who've been to Abhayagiri know, when you go there, there's just this sense of harmony and peace, care that's just comes out of the bathrooms. The bathroom's just shining. And so
real restroom.
Yeah, the real rest. That's a real place of rest. And so these two monks came, Ajahn Kachana and Tan Suhajo, came to visit. And I'll have just a short story. But basically, I asked them a question one evening about how to support students. I said, Dharma Buddhist University is a pretty unique environment because when the students come, generally hold the 5 precepts: no killing, so no violence, no kind of violent video games or movies, not even really aggressive speech or swearing, so no killing, not harming any animals or creatures, right? No stealing, no sexual misconduct. And so in our campus, because it's actually situated within monastic context, the men and the women, the male, the different genders, actually don't hit on each other, which you can imagine is pretty extreme for a college campus. And actually many students actually come on campus because they want to be in an environment where they can explore something deeper than just the kind of surface level of those interactions. And no lying, and it's so skillful speech, and no intoxicants. So no alcohol, marijuana, drugs, and so forth. So I say the students come to our campus, and they all come with actually clear intention on wanting to be here, wanting to uphold these guidelines. But what I found was that after maybe a few months, it gets pretty tough. It gets pretty tough because, as people know, most college campuses, right, definitely there's gender interaction and sometimes goes, off. Alcohol is pretty prevalent, and it's a time when you kind of indulge your senses. I think, especially in American colleges, there's this kind of sense that you just go to college to enjoy your life, live life to the fullest, explore, experiment.
Not only American.
Not only Americans. My experience is in America. This is a slight context. I went to Stanford. I don't know if people know, the first thing you do as a Stanford student is something called full moon on the quad. And what happens is all the seniors of the college and all the freshmen of the college go out into the main quad and kiss each other. That's the first activity.
And nugget run.
And and then people are running around naked on top of that. So the first thing you do when you get to college is everyone's kissing each other, and there's people running around naked. And I remember I was like, wow, this is quite something. I actually went back in my dorm at that time. Because actually I want to be a monastic already in my mind. So I thought that's probably not the scene for me, but but you can see that in colleges, that's I think maybe that's not common, but this kind of culture of exploration and immersing ourselves in the senses is quite prevalent. And so what I found was, for students coming to DRBU, they had this intention to, you could say, cultivate their hearts, cultivate their mind, to master the senses, to develop this inner sense of self-mastery. But it's not easy. And oftentimes the method that they end up using is repression. They have their desires and they just kind of, I can't do this. So it's just like, I have to hold it in, and all of a sudden explode in kind of a burst of anger or some kind of strange desire, or, just being really depressed. And so I asked Ajahn Kachana and Tan Suhajo, what would you recommend? I thought they have some kind of community practice or teaching on, friendship. But it's interesting, both of them immediately said, Mettā. I said, Mettā? Like loving kindness? I said, yeah, loving kindness. So, because to me at the time, I thought of loving kindness as, the phrase is, may I be well, may I be peaceful and at ease, may I be happy, right? And I say, actually, I do that sometimes in my meditation, but, it's kind of like, okay, may I be well, may I be peaceful. It's kind of nice. And they both looked at me with this kind of shock, like you don't know? You don't know about loving kindness?
You're missing something important here.
Like the best part of monastic life. I said, like, really? Can you explain? They said, well, so for instance, Ajahn Kachana says, let me explain to you. So I was just going to one of the DRBU classes, and it was this wonderful conversation around kind of Buddhist hermeneutics, or different ways of Buddhism kind of looks at principles and different ways of interpretation. And it was a very rich conversation, and it was very exciting. And afterwards, I was so happy. So at that point, there's a feeling I wanted to go out and talk to people. But rather than doing that with that energy, I just actually just said, spend some time and just feel that sense of well-being and happiness in my body. And he said something that really stuck with me. He says, you know how we often hold trauma in our bodies? And we have a very painful experience and something tenses up and tightens up inside. He says, we can also traumatize ourselves with Mettā. I said, that our body can actually remember feelings of well-being and happiness. And so I just wanted to remember that experience in my body. I said, that's really interesting. I never thought of loving kindness that way before. One was just bringing it into the body. And number two, using it right after a class. After a class, you might have this moment of happiness and excitement, but rather than just going out and socializing, right, using the energy and interacting with other people, So actually, I'm just going to bring that inward and just find some kind of ground there. Then Tansu Hajo was said, actually, you know, what I do is I use actually a lot of the practices you have in your tradition. I use like the mudras and the mantras, the Great Compassion mantra. Even there's Guanyin Bodhisattva. I don't know if you know Guanyin Bodhisattva is the Bodhisattva of Great Compassion. So yeah, just visualizations and these kind of things. You know, I don't just use phrases, use whatever works. Our styles, whatever works.
Spiritual playground.
Yeah. I said, huh. Yeah, we have all these practices in our tradition. I've never thought about that before. The loving kindness. And so that really kind of opened the door to me, saying, actually, we can really cultivate this loving kindness in every moment. And I don't know if Jin Wei Shi want maybe show. We actually came back and I immediately shared with Jin Wei Shi. And so we spend this kind of, most of our conversations now have loving kindness at some point popping up.
Oh, for sure. And I said, wow, Jin Chuan is so enthusiastic about this metta, you know, loving kindness. I was really traumatized by this kindness. And so we have a kind of a self-exploration. How actually I can use this method? Because into some point of my practice, some of you maybe could relate to this state at some point in our spiritual journey. It kind of my colors a little bit faded. The fire was not so strong anymore. And I can say no joy, but it was a little joy. You know, I have to just follow the routine, kind of very mechanistic, my practice, you know, do what I have to do, like homework, right? I have to do my homework, you know, and well, I don't see the spark of joy in my heart to do the homework all the time. And this is one part. And the second, as I mentioned, I came from Europe and from the place when many of my friends, including myself, we suffer from the call guilt, right? Not really kind of accepting fully ourselves, you know, having in behind this mind, this tyrant is never happy. You always can do better your practice or you fail. Where is the progress? It's no progress. You know, and it's like, oh, please, be kind to me. No, you have to be harder. You have to be harder. You know, some point we call ourselves Dharma Marines, you know, very, you know, try hard. And so, well, I have to change the tactic, you know, here because it's no joy, no more, you know, happiness. And I was traumatized by not kindness, but by self harshness or self-hatred, I can say. And here in the monastery, I think since the beginning, and it was established in Berkeley Buddhist Monastery in 1995. As we said, we have a long friendship with the theravada, right? Especially Thai Forest Sangha. And every month, first Tuesday, we have a monks who came here and offer the tea and Dharma, similar format as we have here today in the morning.
Yeah.
For the years, Ajahn came before he came to Amaravati in England, and later Ajahn Pasan, Ajahn Nanik, and different monks. From this Tuesdays, we met almost whole community in Abhayagiri and actually make some connections and friendship. And I remember one time Ajahn Karuණadhammo came, and I was a very, you know, eager student of Mettā. I remember after the lecture asking, Venerable, can you tell me something about this magic of Mettā? You know, I try hard. I don't see this kind of kindness in myself. I cultivate something else. And what he says, you're like two things is, oh, first, be creative. Be really creative. And it's very important. It's not the phrases, what you're saying, but the feelings behind the phrases of loving kindness, this loving care, loving acceptance. And he says, my method, I use the one word mantra, is I reciting word gentle. Gentle. Anything arise, any tension in the body, in the heart, meeting with this kind of gentleness, welcoming, accepting. I says, I see this is like art, right? We become inner artists of our states, and kind of painting our inner states with skillfulness and finding what really works, like Venerable Sukhadja says.
Yeah, it's so I don't know if people know Ajahn Kurunadamo, but he was the first Anagarika at Abhayagiri. So in the very beginning was Ajahn Amaro, Ajahn Pasano, and Ajahn Kurunadamo. And he's a very gentle presence.
Oh, super gentle.
He actually, I think, was a nurse before.
I think from Seattle, actually.
Yeah, maybe. Actually.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, I have to find some mind key to my heart somehow. And, you know, I, for some time, recite the phrase safety, because I feel a little bit fear and uncertainty and anxiety. And to kind of establish the safe place, you can say the sacred space in my heart. And even accept this, you know, this judge, what is always unhappy. And the key for me to open my heart, honestly, was a visualization. What it was almost every meditation, in my meditation, I met my grandma. I visualized as a 10 years old boy going to grandma, like very excited. Wow, I see my grandma, you know, coming to her house, feeling the smell, you know, having this kind of loving kindness everywhere. Every corner of the house is my grandma presence, and she's seeing me. It's like, at the time was Marek, give me a hug, you know, it's so wonderful to see you. And look on me with this kind of gentle, loving eyes. And my reflection was, first of like, feel these feelings of kindness and acceptance, be with this. And as a reflection, can to myself, look on myself in the same way how my grandma looked at me. With my grandma eyes. Should I use this judge eye? you know, everything you do is wrong, so wrong. No, it's happy that you are here. I'm so glad. And it's really turned my connection to my practice and having this kind of loving acceptance, something what is real in my life, and cultivate this acceptance, relaxation, give a new life. So the colors become more bright, you know, the fire rise, and willingness and enthusiasm. I really want to do this, not just in meditation. Can I cultivate it every moment during my day? How I can bring this loving kindness into action.
So what we wanted to share, and I realize in terms of time, we're went a little bit over. So maybe I can share just a few minutes of this, because one thing that really inspired us when it talks about loving kindness embodied is a program called Guiding Rage into Power. And if people have the time, I definitely recommend going and finding this yourself. So it's called GRIP, Guiding Rage into Power. And it's a program in San Quentin. I don't know if people know, but here in California, there's a maximum security prison called San Quentin. And the founder of it is named Jack Verdun, who you could say definitely has Buddhist roots, but he's translated the Dharma into a way that completely makes sense for these, you know, people having lifetime sentences in jail who have very violent backgrounds. Perhaps their parents murdered each other, or they murdered somebody themselves, and they actually are completely transformed. And I think we just wanted to show the video just to see how loving kindness manifests in a space. Just a little bit of background, and you can look into yourself. Here are the numbers, which is stunning. They have 1,233 graduates from their program. Many of them are lifetime sentences, so they have to go before the board to get released, to evaluate them before they can get released. And 421 actually got released.
What is that amazing number?
Which is an amazing number to begin with. And then in terms of number reoffended, 2 for non-violent crimes. You know, maybe some addiction, and they got back into jail. Just imagine that out of 421 people, 2 people reoffended after doing this program. 99.8% success rate. And so when you watch this video, I think it's just stunning because I don't know how it just opens my heart every time I watch it.
Yeah, it's I watched it many, many times.
Yeah, because it's almost like we think, oh, I have it tough. Well,
yeah,
imagine being in a maximum security prison, you know, having grown up in very traumatic experiences and then transforming yourself. And this is what we're seeing. So we'll just watch a little bit at the beginning, just given time. So they're sitting in a circle.
very close by.
Yeah, very close by here.
Drop 662 SQ, we be gripping, that's what this click do. Sitting in the
So
fire.
maybe just to start, so it says 662. So at the very beginning of this program, Jack, you know, has a group of about 32 men sitting in a circle, and he asks them a question. He says, how many years have you served in prison? And so in the 38 men, maybe some say 15, some say 20, some might say 40. Right? So he adds it up. And sometimes it can be over 1,000 years. So in this case, 662. And after that question, he asks a second question. He says, how long did it take from the moment you felt imminent danger, where you felt activated, when things started to speed up, you got agitated, and then you committed the crime that got you here? And these men say 15 seconds.
1 minute.
1 minute, yeah. 10 minutes, maybe. So they total that number up as well. And it comes up maybe like 35 minutes. So it says 35 minutes of time for almost a millennia of life. He asked, is it worth it? And then he says, so in this program, we're teaching you never to miss a moment like that again. So that's what he means by power. The power not to react. The power not to just give in to anger and rage. So.
Like we're getting BBQ, all colors intertwined like a Rubik's Cube, yeah. We gotta stop the violence. GRIP is the acronym cause we've been guiding. Rage and a power, power and a peace, so that we can leave prison before we get released, yeah. Cause hurt people, but heal people, yeah. I had a dream I could buy my way to freedom and free people, yeah. It's like recently, like I explained, shared with some of y'all, my brother was murdered November 17th this year, last year, I mean, and today is his birthday. And normally, if somebody get hit on our side, we go retaliate and go do something on their side. Now, this is the time when you just sitting here and I'm doing it in a healthy way. I'm sitting in here and I'm going through the anger. I'm going through the hurt. I'm going through the good times, laughing about the good memories that I had of him. And I'm not just stuck in that one gear. And if it wasn't for this group, I don't think that I would be able to sit back and respond healthily like this. And that's that emotional intelligence. That's being able to track exactly what I'm feeling. That's learning how to sit in that fire and not just go react to something every time you get hurt. To me, it was that's, like I say, it's big.
So for them, they call meditation sitting in the fire. Because I think if anybody who's sat long enough, you can feel the fire inside. Especially if some painful memories arise and we feel the kind of tension, right? Being able to just sit through that, relax into it, accept it, and just let it burn through. So they say just burn through and leave ashes. And so this is where loving kindness comes in. Right there, you can hear it, the sense of acceptance, the sense of kind of remembering the good times, remembering the happiness, not just stuck in the trauma, right?
There's the common phrase, stop. Stop means stop to observe and process.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of react habitually, usually from some trauma, unprocessed traumas, the triggers, what we kind of automatically follow, to kind of observation and respond instead of react, instead of, fight, run, or hide process, have this open space to see that I have a choice every time I have a choice.
I've been spinning on the wheel of cause and effect, searching for original pain. I'm feeling shame and regrets when it surfaces. Wonder what the purpose is. I would never know how many people have been hurt from this.
Okay, so right there he said original pain. He makes another interesting distinction that's completely in alignment with the Pali scriptures. So he calls what we experience in our lives, the trauma that we receive, original pain. But he says that we add a lot on top of that, the guilt, the self-hatred,
shame,
the shame. And that's secondary pain. So he says that's avoidable if we can actually train ourselves, like what Jin Wei Shi said, the loving kindness. We learn how to cultivate this heart of loving kindness. We still feel the initial pain, right, experience, but we don't have to add more pain onto that.
So the first dart can hit us, but the second is optional.
Yeah, second is optional.
That I committed out of anger, coulda, shoulda, woulda, thinking how I could have handled the situation better. I see plenty in the rearview mirror, hindsight 2020. I feel that the change that I'm making is genuine. I mean, I want to change way back then, but I really didn't know how. I was still lying about my committed offense. I was saying that I was confronted in a liquor store by a gang member. Went outside the liquor store. He followed me outside the liquor store and pulled a weapon out. A struggle ensued for possession of the weapon, and I shot him. That was my legal defense. So I've been living that life for years now. And but when I got here and I started participating in some of the groups, I started to realize what accountability was about. And then I would be seeing guys, holding their truth. People like Robin, and Kyrie and Troy. I would see these guys, and so they inspired me. They let me know, okay, if these guys can change, then I know that I can change. In terms of being open and honest, about the things I've done.
God bless you, bro. Hey, stay strong, bro. You got
that's
that.
Mudita.
Change is ever.
Yeah.
Rejoicing.
A lot of Mudita, right?
That's right. Stand in the truth, man.
Yeah,
Stand in the truth.
without a doubt. Thank you.
All right.
We're coming in here because we get to remind each other, welcome each other back in who we really are, because when we committed a crime, we forgot. We forgot who we really are. And so you cannot forget that again.
So that's actually really key, is when he actually starts the program, he actually has people, he asks people, how many people are here to improve yourselves, to get better? And usually most of these people raise their hand, because, they maybe killed somebody or did something. And he says, everyone get out of the room, come back in with another motivation. Because if you come here with this mindset that you need to be better, you need to improve yourself, then the whole time you're in this program, you're going to be thinking, I'm not good enough and I need to get better. You have this inner negative narrative. Rather, what you want to come in is, so it's what you just see when he just said, when we committed a crime or we did something harmful, we just forgot who we really are. We forgot our heart of kindness, our heart of goodness, a heart of not wanting to suffer and causing other people to suffer. We just forgot. And so in this program, in our cultivation, in our training, it's going back home. Going back home. It's not to try to fix ourselves because we're broken. That narrative is endless. It's endless. It's like we need to earn something at some ending point so we can be successful. No. This is actually going home to someplace that's already inherent within all of us.
Right. Not kind of from the sense of lacking or missing something, but defining that actually complete. And the words like bad, worst, better, or the best is not actually have any reality there.
Yeah.
Right? Why I have to be the best? I'm okay.
Yeah.
Who I am. And the loving kindness gives us the sense of it when we tune into this kind of caring place.
We like to joke, with loving kindness, you always win.
And
loving
kindness never fails.
Never fails. Yeah. Because you never play a losing game, right? We get pulled into a game of win and lose.
Yeah.
We're already out of the game of loving kindness. Loving
Praise
kindness
or blame. Yeah.
wants everyone to be happy, peaceful, well, so forth.
On December 7th, 1994, I murdered a woman named Christy Anderson. She is the mother of my now 20-year-old daughter. On Thanksgiving, I saw my daughter for the first time in 19 years since I've been in prison. For me, one of my biggest problems was my anger and violent and aggressive outbursts. My mother sent me to live with my father when I was 9, and my father used to beat me like I was a grown man. And I think without a program like GRIP, I wouldn't have been able to receive a visit and be open to everything that my daughter Katie had to say to me on Thanksgiving. The fact that someone who I felt I harmed the most in this world could tell me that they forgive me for what I did.
If one of you is working, you're all doing your work, because we all have skeletons in the closet. We all have hurt people. And it's coming clean with that. That is a big part of reclaiming who we truly are.
So in closing, I want to honor the earth, the air, the water, the fire. And I want to say a prayer for our ancestors. And all of you here today, and the work that you're doing, and how it will resonate, not only here in San Quentin in this community, but throughout the world.
Gratitude for sure is the kindness.
So, Troy, could you enlighten us as to what's different here?
I'm still breathing. No. Last week I went to the board and was found suitable for release.
Wow. No small matter.
Yeah.
No small matter. Okay, so sorry, I realized we didn't not have too much time at the end, but you should watch the whole thing. But actually, that program was introduced to us by another DRBU student who was a volunteer in this program. So he would go to San Quentin and be a facilitator, and they go for whole day workshops and be a year-long program. And so he shared with a lot of the materials. And honestly, when I saw, I was like, wow, at least for men, I mean, probably everybody, but at least for men, this would be a wonderful program for learning how to be a man. And how do you transform your anger and aggression and needing to do stuff into being able to be of service, being caring, to being responsible. I mean, it's actually a really amazing program on a multitude of levels, and how thoughtful it is.
And it's interesting that as we can also go to the website and find some talks, and very inspiring. Many of those men who are released and return to their communities serve as peacemakers, who bring peace, bring connection and dialogue. And in many ways, I think it's coming from this heart of loving kindness.
For sure.
And not judge ourselves who we are as a person, but notify that unskillful behaviors would lead us to suffering. And they actually do as a part of the cleaning the closet, like Jack says, the letter of unfinished businesses, very honestly, vulnerably share, what's happened, truly, and often even they have a chance to meet those who they hurt.
Yeah.
And the very kind of, you heard the phrase, hurt people hurt people. Often we are repeating the pattern. We become a victim and become an offender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is the circle, karmic circle, can say, and say the heal people.
Yeah.
and we can heal ourselves. And for us, I see the Dharma is this a medicine.
Mhm.
We bring the peace anywhere we go, and they start with our heart, with the heart of kind of forgiveness and deep change. This is quite very inspiring.
So maybe just, I don't know if we're allowed to go a little bit over time or not, but we're happy to take any questions.
Yeah, please.
I don't know what the format exactly is in terms of being a little bit over time. Are there any questions from anyone? I'm not sure who's the... There's not a particular question immediately. I can share actually another thing from their program that I think was quite inspiring. Something I think worth for us also to think about for ourselves. They actually start with a pledge. You'll see on their website, they'll say here, they take a peace pledge. And if you look through it, I won't read through everything of it, but it's basically not being violent, praying for those they've hurt. I found this would be a very, very good one. It says, learn how to foster sincere connections, express my affections, develop intimacy, and not create harm with sexual behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wow, that's a beautiful way to talk about no sexual misconduct, the third precept. Right? Strive to establish equality and nurture healthy and authentic relationships with other beings. And also challenge violence firmly, but kindly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about being a pushover. It's being quite strong, but the strength comes from a different place. And like the final line, I commit myself to a lifetime of nonviolence and peacekeeping as if life depends on it, because I understand it does. And so what they do when they join this program, they have to sign this as a pledge, and they actually keep each other accountable as a group.
52 weeks.
Yeah, for 52 weeks for 1 year. And when they graduate, and you can see some of their ceremonies when they graduate, they have the opportunity, basically they then sign this pledge for a lifetime. So they commit to this for a lifetime. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, we are quite inspired by this pledge. We create the pledge for the monastery when people coming and stay some time in the monastery. Also have a similar, maybe not exactly the same, but try to translate that important guidelines and principles that we want to see in the community. And the heart of it is the four hearts, right? Loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and sympathetic joy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the 5 precepts and so forth.
Yeah, I see only one question, which is, will this recording be available online? I believe so. I believe so. Okay, well, if there's not a specific question. Oh, yeah, please.
Please.
Hi, my name is Nelly. So I'm a mother of 5 years old, and how do I teach or coaching my little girls who just start to learn her emotional and doesn't really aware to it yet? And I would love her to learn love and kindness through that, like in an easy way for 5 years old.
Wonderful. I can maybe share, of course, since I'm not a parent, I would defer actually to some of the parents here who are actually real parents.
Yeah.
But we do have parents come to the monastery, so I did read some books on parenting. And there was one book that I found was very good called, I think it's Listen so your kids will talk like your kids will listen. And when I read through it, I thought it was actually a very good, concrete way of practicing loving kindness in a parent-child relationship. And the first thing that they say you do is you accept your children's feelings. You don't reject your children's feelings. And he gave a very concrete example. It says sometimes, your child comes home and says, I hate grandma. You say, no, you don't. You love grandma. Or they say, they're wearing too much clothes. They're wearing a lot of clothes, and it's hot outside. You say, it's so hot. Why are you wearing a lot of clothing? Take off your jacket. And he says, what happens for a child when a parent basically doesn't allow them to have their feelings is that they develop two responses. One response is they don't trust their parents because their parents aren't reflecting what's actually going inside, or they no longer trust their own feelings and are just pleasing their parents. And so the first thing that they teach, which is very interesting, I think it's a very loving kindness, is you actually accept your children's feelings. So for instance, I hate grandma. Says, oh, sounds like you're really angry. What happened? So you see how loving kindness responds back with that kind of sense of care and acceptance? The same thing for ourselves. I mean, we somehow grew up with a very tyrannical inner parent who doesn't allow us to feel anything. We feel anger, and immediately we judge ourselves as a bad person, you know, or we feel depressed and we start to, you know, you get even more depressed because we start yelling at ourselves internally for being depressed and being like lazy or incompetent and and it just goes on and on and on, rather than just saying, hey, you know, I'm feeling angry or I'm feeling sad.
Right.
Okay.
It's okay.
Doesn't mean that I have to go and express the sadness or the anger in a way that will harm myself or other people, but I need to hold that feeling with real gentle care. And from there, something can maybe arise that's a skillful action.
So, you want to share, came to my mind this story of toolbox. And in the university, we have a
yeah, there's a grandma
grandma.
who is also our counselor, our school counselor at Dharma Buddhist University. I have a lot of my stories from DRB today, but
yeah.
So she invited and also introducing something called Toolbox, which if you really want to look into too, is also a wonderful program for teaching young children from probably about 5 to 12 emotional intelligence.
You can take courses on Zoom too.
We actually joined them on the courses.
Yeah.
So this is exploring. So they teach different tools on how to, you know, be aware of what's going on inside.
We have kind of emotional intelligence very often. What is also taught in the San Quentin from the prisoners, and very important component of transformation.
So this is
understand the feelings and emotions.
Yeah. So this is taught, you know, with the age range of, you know, younger kids in mind. And so she said she went home one day, and her, you know, grandson is always really excited to see her because maybe they go out for ice cream or they go play, you know. And so she gets home and her grandson's like, oh, grandma. And then all of a sudden she stops. And then he runs into his room and disappears. And she's just waiting outside for like a few minutes. And then she goes, huh, what's going on? So she goes into his room and looks at him. He's lying on his bed, just breathing. She goes, are you okay? What's going on? And she says, grandma, I'm too excited. I need to calm down. I'm using my breathing tool.
My breathing tool.
And then after a little bit, he gets up and says, I'm better now, grandma. We can go. She's like, what? What's that? And so she went and looked into it, and it's something called Toolbox. And essentially they teach, you know, children different tools, like the breathing tool, a patience tool,
trash tool,
garbage can tool, which is all that stuff that you don't need to keep in yourself. You can just throw away your
let go little things.
Yeah, let go little things. I really like the patience tool. It's called I have the strength to wait.
Yeah, I have the strength.
I have the strength to wait. Patience is I have the strength to wait. And so anyways, as a mother, I think for sure one thing is taking care of ourselves. And then for our children, the first step, I think, really allowing them to have their feelings and being gentle.
And I can say also cultivate loving kindness for yourself, because definitely the children can really sense of our state well-being and can really offer kids, for co-workers, for family members. When we are happy, this happiness really prevails.
So, but I would also get advice from another real parent.
Yeah.
That you admire, that you think, oh, they're doing a pretty good job, because they will probably have very concrete advice.
Yeah, we are enthusiasts. We are not experts.
Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, I don't know if there's much more, but I think probably, do we need to finish? What's the, we can go a little bit longer if we would like, or we can also finish up. Okay, if maybe that's it. Can we finish with a brief chant? This is another expression of loving kindness that is, oh, somebody has Huang Le, please.
Hi. So yeah, I don't have kids, but I have parents, and my mom, I think in recent years, she had developed a more materialistic worldview, how she care a lot more about material things, and I think that is unhealthy for her and everybody's around her. So, but I've given up trying to change her. But now I actually thinking that I can do something. I can do something, not like trying to change her, but like there's a way, like through Dharma, like somehow.
For
sure.
sure.
I wonder, because I've tried to change her and that didn't go very well.
Yeah, that definitely did not go well.
No.
Yeah, we have recently a conversation, because as you can imagine, many people who decide to go the monastic path have a very interesting conversation with their parents. What? Monk? And there are all the stories, a lot of tears behind. And the one, what I also, coming from my experience, is truly ability to listen, even before try to even respond. Truly listen. In my case, with my father, I have some tension. As you similarly, the big shift happened when I stopped wanting to fix him. Oh, you have to be more dharmic, why you do this and that? This is not according with the Dharma and so forth. It doesn't work. But can I listen and meet you truly who you are? Can we make a connection? When we deeply listen and value the person, who his person is, we slowly open up something, what is even beyond intellectual thinking. You should do this or that. And loving kindness very helps into it.
Yeah, it's essential.
Essential. So my first thing, when I don't often coming to visit home, but sometimes being a monk and see all the dynamics in my parents' home is kind of interesting to watch. First thing, relax. And kind of sitting relaxed, and in our tradition, we have a very strong connection to Guanyin Bodhisattva, that is a Bodhisattva of great compassion. But she embodied a lot of qualities of loving kindness and compassion and equanimity and so forth. So I kind of stay there and, and don't try to do anything, honestly. Just make connection through listening. And recently someone says very well, be very creative. And the best way to be creative, do the loving, the act of kindness. Instead of doing the random act of violence, we do random act of kindness. And this really can change the atmosphere. And at the same time allows to my father be who he is. He has his goals, his values, and I can, accept who he is, and have a kind of space to be with him in kind of true way.
Yeah, I think just to add on to what Jin Wei Shi said, so listening, I think, is really key, and really seeing them for who they are is really key. I think parents for children as well, there's a double relationship there. It's oftentimes parents, we might see our children and want them to be a certain way. And so we don't actually see the child for how they are, but we see what we want to see. The same often goes for parents. We don't see our parents for who they are as human beings with their own struggles and values and aspirations, but kind of an idealized image of how we think they're supposed to be. And so I think in the Dhamma practice, what we find is we begin to develop the skills to open up our hearts and open up our minds, to realize, actually, I can't control my parents. I can't control this world. But what I can do is let go and deeply listen and deeply accord with this heart of kindness. And parents and people feel that. It's precognitive. When somebody shows up in your space And let's say your mom says something like, why don't you get a job? Like, you know, talking to me, wait, become a monk. And you're a failure. You know, I'm embarrassed. You know, it's like, okay, I hear that. So mom, what I hear is you're really upset because you hope that I can be responsible for myself.
We can empathize with those feelings.
You really want me to be responsible for stuff. I hear that, mom. And I really care about your family. I really care about you. Oh, are you leaving the family? I do care about the family. You know, I really value, you know, but you and dad, you know, just that, so that heart of connection, you just can take all the kind of principles and stuff aside, the teaching stuff aside. They're not, they say the Dharma is spoken upon request. It's at the point when they're actually interested that you maybe want to share something. But other than that, just showing up with care, with service, with listening, they begin to say, wow, I really like my son going to learn the Dharma because he's come out very more peaceful.
This is the real story. Zilong, remember the Zilong, our friend from China, how he changed his parents, very scientific, I can say materialistic people who are very denying any religion, I can say, or spirituality. He was very dedicated to the Goenka retreats.
Yeah.
And what he'd start doing, washing dishes after the dinners and any meal with huge enthusiasm and kind of willing to help. It never happened before. And they was very shocked. What's happened to my son? And the long story, the short, finally they start coming to the Goenka retreats, both of them, and cultivate the Dhamma. Because it's some connection happened. He, you know, unconditionally want to give without finding any reward. I just want to support you with happiness. This is wonderful, you know.
That makes a huge difference.
Mettā in action, you know, small act of kindness, very count, and change relationship when people see that we don't seeking nothing in reward.
Yeah, we're just doing it because we care about everybody. We want everyone to be happy. Okay, so sorry, we're going quite a bit over time. I see somebody clear mouth that says there will read a blessing braid for offering merit at the end of the meeting. Will somebody be doing that?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I can do the blessing braid. So for Cora, family dog who passed, for Aileen, her 93-year-old friend passed away last night. For Cassidy, a dear friend who passed from cancer last night. For Mandy, struggling with nighttime seizures. For Matika, longtime supporter of the Sangha. And Abaya Gary, who just passed. For Thaddeus, a son who's living with stage 4 cancer. For Betty, a mother who will be undergoing hip replacement surgery. For Susan, a sister-in-law who died earlier this month. For Joseph's relatives and neighbors, just tested positive for COVID. For all beings everywhere without exception. Requesting recitation of the Ratana Sutta for the benefit of all beings everywhere without exception. I don't have that sutta in front of me, but it sounds interesting. Usually we do a chant at this point.
We offer one? We have one we can offer.
I'm sorry?
We can offer one if that'd be all right. We have a dedication.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
And of course, want to include all of us in this call in the St. Mark Cathedral.
Yeah. So please join in. This is actually very easy to follow along, and it's definitely an expression of loving kindness, written by a Buddhist musician that we know in our community named Eve Decker. So trying to take the Mettā phrases and make it something that connects directly to our hearts in kind of regular English. And so we'll do this 3 times. And people are welcome to join in when you have the lyrics. Maybe this is just a brief explanation. be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. The inner harm is sometimes the self-judgments, the kind of self-criticism, outer harm like COVID. Truly happy and deeply peaceful. We find an abiding place of well-being, not just the ups and downs of life. Healthy and strong, physically at ease, so our bodies relax. And I really like the last line, which is, may we take care of ourselves and live with well-being. And this is actually a teaching on equanimity that people saw in the reflections on universal well-being. The last reflection was, we are all owners of our karma. That's actually a teaching on equanimity. And so this is saying, may all of us have the inner resources to take care of ourselves. So this prevents codependency. I think for parents, this is a wonderful reflection, for children as well. So as parents, we're trying to help our children learn how to take care of themselves. Similarly for children, for their parents, I'm hoping that I support their choices for well-being. So that's the last one. Okay, so we can maybe chant it 3 times together with all those people that were just read in our hearts as well. This we isn't just the we here in this community, but this we can be infinite, connecting to all the beings that we touch in our hearts, which is everything.
Boundless and infinite.
Yeah. May we be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May we be truly happy and deeply peaceful. May we be healthy and strong and physically at ease. May we take care of ourselves and live with well-being. May we be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May we be truly happy and deeply peaceful. May we be healthy and strong and physically at ease. May we take care of ourselves and live with well-being. May we be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May we be truly happy and deeply peaceful. May we be healthy and strong and physically at ease. May we take care of ourselves and live with well-being. May you all be well.
Have a wonderful rest of the day and the week and
life.
And life.
And we always stay relaxed and with this heart of kindness.